And now, our feature presentation.
To infinity and beyond!
My name's Bond. James Bond.
That'll do, pig.
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
Show you with the box. Who's in the box?
Damn! Ew! Get off of me! Ugh, an F.
A lot of people go to college for 7 years.
I know. They're called doctors.
Houston, we have a problem.
Hello. Can I switch over? Thank you. Welcome in, everybody, to 52/1995, the live movie conversation podcast where everything is made up and the points don't matter. Wait, that's not it. Where we discuss movies from the year 1995. I am your host, Cody. If this is your first time joining us, welcome in. We are so happy for you to join us today. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up, typically what we do is we do 52 movies from the year 1995, but every month we have a couple movies that don't quite make that list. So we want to give them their due, and then we give them like kind of a special category. This is our extra credit section. So if you have been following along with us, I try and give these out, once a month and keep reminding folks, hey, there are 4 or 5 movies that if you want to watch, you can join us for whatever hour and a half that we sit on here and talk about these. But our topic this month is called Back to the Future, and I put that in quotation marks, which means that all of our movies this month are about these like dystopian futures or sci-fi genres. One of them is kind of like a dystopian past, I would say. And it also means that Ice-T is in all of these movies. No, he's not. He's in 2 of them, though, which is crazy. But anyway, let's welcome in my guest host I love to do these with him. Ryan, welcome back.
Hello.
For this. I love your name. It's
I had 3 bad names, and that one came to me in the last second.
That's usually how they come. I couldn't think of anything good, so I'm just 6.7 version of myself. Anyway, we're talking about 5 movies this month. Did you watch all of them?
I did watch all of them, actually.
Congratulations. I did as well. It was a late night last night, but I finally got to Virtuosity with my 7-day free trial of MGM Plus.
That movie is uploaded completely to YouTube for free.
Oh, well, darn.
I check YouTube for the weird ones because I'll look up some of these movies on YouTube sometimes. Like, do you want to rent it? And then right next to the renting thing is just the full movie that somebody uploaded 10 years ago. So I was like, I think I'll just go to the right and watch it for free.
Yeah, that's I need to start doing that a little bit more. Because sometimes like YouTube will have them like for streaming. Yeah. And not, you don't have to buy it or anything. You can just watch it there and it's an actual
one of these
uploaded.
was like that. I don't remember which one, but one of these was a YouTube official movie, but they didn't even ask you to pay for
God,
it.
I wish it was Johnny Mnemonic, because the only place I watched that was on Pluto, which is
I watched it on Pluto. It was on Criterion. I watched Johnny Mnemonic the first time like 3 months ago, and it was on Criterion Channel.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I watched it on Criterion. I watched the black and white version.
I watched the black and white version too for the first time I saw it. I don't know why.
I don't either. I did the same thing.
So fascinated. Like, why would you do that? But
we'll talk about it a little bit. Anyway, so let's go through our roll call of these movies and talk about what we're going to talk about with each one of them. So we have 5 movies this month. The City of Lost Children, which was directed by Mark Caro and Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Johnny Mnemonic by Robert Longo, which sounds like a made-up name from
Rob Longo.
Rob Longo.
Or do you have a movie you want directed?
I keep thinking it's like somebody from Comedy Bang Bang. It's like a character from that.
Yeah, it is.
I think Longo is the timekeeper. I think his last name's
right.
Longo. Another made-up name that directed Judge Dredd is Danny Cannon. Not related to Danny Tanner in any way, shape, or form. Virtuosity by Brett Leonard and Tank Girl by Rachel Talalay. These movies are 4 of them were pretty even on the Rotten Tomatoes scale, I would say. The lowest being Johnny Mnemonic, pulling in a whopping 20%. Judge Dredd right above that, 21%, Virtuosity 31%, Tank Girl 45%, and then The City of Lost Children at 80%. So I don't know what you thought about that ranking. It's a little different than how my ranking is gonna end up. But which one of these?
Johnny Mnemonic is so low compared to the others. Maybe it's more expectations, and so there's more disappointment by it.
I think that let's talk about Johnny Mnemonic.
Let's just
talk about Johnny Mnemonic, because I watched the black and white version.
Mm-hmm.
And after I watched the black and white version back in, I think that was last year or something like that. Yeah. After that, I was like, okay, so I get it like a little bit. I don't think it's as bad as what I've been led to believe. And then I watched it this time around, and I hated this movie.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's interesting. I'll say that as a movie fan, I don't mind when movie, like especially 90s, 80s movies are bad with their like silly, puppetry and the special effects and stuff. I don't mind that, but I'm not the kind of person who loves a movie for being bad. I don't love watching B movies. I'm not endlessly entertained by how silly and old and bad things are.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that about any of these. I kind of enjoyed all of these movies.
I
enjoyed.
enjoyed them.
They're all good, but I enjoyed watching all of them.
I enjoyed them more than I thought I would, but Johnny Mnemonic, I don't know why, it just felt like a TV, like a bad 90s television show, like production wise. Like I think about like these are like Sword and Sandal, and I know you love these shows, but like Xena and Hercules, but like that level of production quality with John. And it had like weird transitions in it that didn't obviously line up with the Pluto commercials that I got, but there would just be like a fade to black, and then it was like next scene. I was like, okay, was that in here for a reason, or it just didn't work for me on definitely on that part. But
I definitely think the first act of Johnny Mnemonic works really well. I think like introducing the world, and then oh no, he's got to. He's with these dangerous Yakuza guys. He's got like 160 gigs in his head, but he's got to put 340, worth of information in there. It's like playing Call of Duty.
He needs a terabyte. What's he doing?
Yeah, right. It's like a Fortnite update. Broke your computer. But like all of that, and then setting him on the run with like secret information and very simple sci-fi concept, but it like worked really well. Very Philip K. Dick inspired kind of stuff. But it does lose itself in the middle with too many characters and side plots. But with the VR stuff, like I also watched Lawnmower Man again a few months ago, and that's unbearable. Like that's not fun to watch at all. I also watched the director's cut though, so it was like 3 hours long. No reason for that.
Yeah, when it comes to that like VR stuff that we've seen, we watched it in Disclosure. It's come up a couple times on here. Like
we're probably gonna get more and more of it. But Disclosure also doesn't like Disclosure is a good movie because I mean that's an erotic thriller. There's just like a VR in the third act, which is great. That just makes it cooler. But I'm also not watching like a whole movie where the concept of VR is supposed to blow my mind so much that carries the movie. Like the like office blackmail and sexual tension, like that carries the movie.
Yeah, I think that you're correct in saying that the first part of this movie is the best part of this movie, and from what I read, though, that like the studio got really heavily involved because of Keanu Reeves having, being, an action star now because of Speed, and them being like, okay, we need to make this a blockbuster, so we got to add all this silly shit in the middle, and then at the end, like I think the preacher guy, Dolph Lundgren's character wasn't even supposed to be like how he was in the movie.
Isn't he great?
Oh, I love Dolph Lundgren. Yeah, he's incredible. I love Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah. I used to just think of him, like I'm sure like a lot of people, as I mean, he's not like a great actor or anything, but I don't know. He's doing more. He's not just the stereotypical like meathead. He's in so many movies, and he's kind of good in all of them. He knows his job, and he does it well.
Yeah, I love. I like that character. There's actually an episode of Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, that kind of, I wonder if it takes from this character a little bit, because it's almost the exact like a preacher. That is obviously doing evil, but we're like saying like his verses and everything. I mean, we have preachers doing that every day. But no, I wonder. It reminded me of like a villain from a Buffy episode.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway, the whip weapon, incredible.
Yeah, very cool.
I loved that part. I also were you confused about who was really the bad guy?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. Who was really the bad guy?
Well, I don't know. Like,
Well, at first you find there's like the VR guy, and then the Yakuza boss is controlling that guy, right?
there's a VR guy, and then the Yakuza boss is controlling that guy. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But then somebody else after that, somebody else later is like, "Don't you know this is the cure for NAS?" To the Yakuza guy because he doesn't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The person inside his head, in Johnny's head.
Okay.
She's
Yeah, I don't
part
know
of
who
it.
that is. Yeah.
Doctor called Henry Rollins is in this movie.
Henry Rollins is in this movie. That's pretty great.
No, I was just confused, and I was like, is he going to be redeemed at the end of this? And I guess he's kind of redeemed at the end of this. And then you got the whip
'cause
guy.
in the middle, he has like one of the best speeches of his career, where he's like, "I want room service. Get me out of here."
Oh, I loved that. I
It's so
actually
good.
really loved Keanu Reeves just unleashing in that.
Like I know that monologues. It's been like memed about on the internet. But yeah, in context, it's pretty great.
I did like that. What else about? Oh, this movie takes place in the year 2021.
Nice.
It
It was
is
kind of like that.
It is not our. It's kind of in the middle of everything else of the other ones, timeline wise. With these, Judge Dredd is the most in the future.
Yeah. Do you think that there's a way we could connect Ice-T's character? Like there was an initial, like there's like a comet that causes the Johnny Mnemonic stuff, right? Like a comet.
Yes, a
hits the Earth.
comet hits Earth, and then there's no water, and then kangaroos are born.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Ice-T finally gets kidnapped as part of the resistance, and then gets tested on as a Ripper, and then like shipped out to the desert.
I love Ice-T's career.
He's great. Yeah, he doesn't say no to stuff.
Law and Order,
He's not
Ice-T and Coco, that
Cop Killer.
Cop Killer. It's an interesting career for Ice-T. Was it this movie that people made fun of him for being in, or was it Tank Girl? One of them I read in the notes that he got made fun of for being in, and he goes, "I made $800,000 off that movie."
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he cares. Like, I don't think he's too cool for anything.
No.
And he tries every time you see him in something. He's
He
not the best
does
actor in the world,
try.
but he tries. He tries in this movie and in Tank Girl. Like he's taking it all seriously.
Yeah, I think we could connect it to Tank Girl, definitely. He's a little bit more hardened in Tank Girl. Maybe he is mad because now he's a kangaroo creature, a Ripper.
Yeah. Well, I also wanted to connect like Lori Petty's character to In the Army Now. My name is going to almost be In the Army soon because she's like a water reclamation specialist
Ooh.
in the military, and she hangs out around tanks in the Army now.
I was hoping you were
Now
going
has, like, get some like radiation, some anti-aging serum or whatever, and then she just becomes Tank Girl one day.
I thought you were going to try and connect her to League of Their Own.
And then the League of Their Own, yeah.
And then Free Willy.
Yeah.
She's all, I love Lori Petty.
I love her too. And I've never seen Tank Girl, so it was really great to watch it.
Did you ever read any of the comics?
No, I've seen them around. When I became a little bit of a comic nerd, I was aware of 2000 AD with Judge Dredd and of Tank Girl, but I never read any.
Yeah, two of these are comic book only two, right?
Yeah, I
Comic
think so.
books. Yeah. Tank Girl, which takes place in 2033. So it is not too far into the future of after Johnny Mnemonic's 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Lori Petty, Ice-T.
Malcolm McDowell.
Oh yeah, I forget about Malcolm McDowell in this movie. It was the first one I watched, and I watched it like 3 weeks ago. So
Oh sure, Iggy Pop is in this movie as a pedo.
he is in this movie.
He's Rat Face.
One of the Cusacks is in this movie. Taking
Oh, I
Bjork.
saw that, and I wondered if that was part of the Cusack family, but I didn't
Yeah.
look up on it. And I think
That's the younger sister, I want to say, of all of them. That was supposed to go to Bjork. Little connection to our 95 music. That role.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I think some Bjork songs were in this movie.
I know what Bjork song was. Yeah. The soundtrack in Tank Girl's pretty fun, and it did well. It did better than the movie because it was organized by Courtney Love. there's a whole song in it, but also like Courtney Love like helps like kind of consult on what music should be included in Tank Girl.
She didn't get a song though because of Kurt Cobain, right? Like she was.
Oh, I thought there was a whole song in there, but maybe
Was
not.
there a whole song? I thought it was.
Or maybe it was
something
just in the
happened.
soundtrack.
They wanted to get Green Day, but Green Day blew up
Oh yeah,
before this, and so they couldn't afford Green Day
1995. Yeah,
anymore.
sure.
Yeah,
I mean, like
Couldn't get
Dookie was
anymore.
94, I guess.
Yeah. Dookie is 94. I think this movie is. I want to see it again. Like, I think it could be remade.
Well, there's a lot of like 90s. Yes. Yeah, sure. It could be remade. I mean, basically, it would be like a comedy Furiosa, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it
that'd be
is.
fun.
Or-
I think the movie, like, there's a lot of 90s comedy and stuff like this that's kind of half geared towards kids and adult. That's just like not funny. It's like very Bugs Bunny, like kind of
Like The
gags
Pest?
and jokes. Huh?
Do you remember The Pest?
The Pest, yeah, absolutely. Like the characters got a joke for everything, but none of them will make you laugh. Not a single one's gonna make you laugh, but they sure have a joke for everything. And if it wasn't for like some of the style design, the cool violence, and like the randomly like kind of based in adult like feminism in it, then it would be a lot worse.
I think I could see this as like a TV show now.
Yeah, that could be great.
That could be a really, really good TV show or a cartoon show. I don't know if
Mhm.
you've ever watched any of those like DC animation stuff that they put out like new
Sure.
shows on HBO Max. Creature Commandos is
Yeah,
one that
Harley
I-
Quinn was supposed to be really good, right?
Harley Quinn was good. I only watched the first season of it, but I did watch Creature Commandos not too long ago, and I really enjoy it. It's got that like Suicide Squad feel to it. But
Right.
when just thinking about it, it was like I could see Tank Girl in that. I don't know who owns Tank Girl now.
Yeah, Tank Girl is very much like a Harley Quinn kind of character, and would fit in that with like the kind of like goth punk vibes.
Did you know, speaking of Tank Girl, that there was supposed to be a kangaroo sex scene in this movie?
Yeah, they built a kangaroo dick. She was also supposed to have a room full of dildos.
Which would have been so much cooler.
That would have been cool. Like if you saw her like in the apocalypse and she's like crafted or like found all these dildos from across the fallen world.
That's again, I just think this movie was ahead of its time. Like I know the audience was alive that would have loved and enjoyed this in 1995, but I just don't think they were ready to see it.
Yeah. I think I think the theme between Johnny Mnemonic, Judge Dredd, and Tank Girl is, from what I read, some frustration in the studio and the filmmaking about whether they were brave enough to make like a cool, dark comic book kind of thing, just go full sci-fi and genre fiction, or if they were trying to like get some mainstream appeal, keep it PG-13, and make it goofy. And it's funny because it would be so much easier to sell now. Like a dark, gritty world building, like speculative fiction, sci-fi thing. But back then, I think they were scared to go all the way sci-fi or all the way post-apocalyptic. And so there's a lot of like, well, we have puppets and makeup in here. Why don't we just make it like a silly, goofy thing for kids?
And I think they just missed them because Tank Girl is PG-13, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think Johnny Mnemonic's the only one of those that's rated R. Judge Dredd should have been rated R.
They pulled that back to the PG-13, yeah.
Because of Stallone, which is crazy. I actually enjoyed Judge Dredd a lot.
I think it's fun, but I mean, Judge Dredd in the comics is pretty fucking cool. Like,
well, isn't that the basis for RoboCop?
Yeah, they ripped off Judge Dredd to make RoboCop, yeah.
And RoboCop is, often considered like one of the best commentaries on satires on violence and everything.
Paul Verhoeven, right? I mean, it's definitely a better Judge Dredd movie.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know. I hate, like, I don't have any precious darling things about Judge Dredd. I don't care that he doesn't wear his helmet or anything like that. I don't have anything. And I don't have any about, I never read the comics for Tank Girl either. So
yeah. I mean, I think Tank Girl suffers from like what's kind of cool and awesome and line drawing is hard to make come to reality. And maybe Judge Dredd does too. Like, like 2000 AD is usually a black and white comic. So all the kind of badass line drawing you can do with Judge Dredd and the uber violence and stuff like that. look silly when you're wearing a Versace design.
That's so crazy. That's all Versace.
What is it with fashion designers and like really loving fascism? Like they Hugo Boss dressing the Nazis, but then you got like Versace who's like, oh yeah, we'd love to do Judge Dredd, like all the cops and make them look cool and like with eagle wings and shit.
There's so much propaganda in all these movies.
Yeah, the 90s had a lot of it.
No, with Tank Girl, I'm trying to think if there's anything that really stood out to me. Maybe the guy playing the saxophone.
Yeah, then the whole Cole Porter musical number.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that too. This movie's wild.
Yeah,
I do.
Remember, I think what'll stick with me is when they stick that little girl upside down in a tube and slowly drown her.
Oh, that is so messed up.
That was frightening. I was like, oh, that's so dark. Like she's like on a curved tube, so her face is down here, and then it's just slowly filling up with water as she's hoping to be saved.
I like the villain's weapon too, like that stabs them and like it separates the blood and water from somebody's body.
Yeah, right. That was very Dune.
No, that was cool. Malcolm McDowell not being a real person at the end of this.
Not at all.
Not a real person at all. Trying to think of anything else that really stands out about Tank Girl.
It definitely like it's a cool artifact of like mid-late 90s like girl punk, leading into like No Doubt kind of vibes, and yeah, I don't know, that Southern California punk that was like overalls, baggy denim, chains, bleached hair, and weird ponytails. Like Tank Girl is very of that era. It's very like ska into 90s punk, kind of skipping over grunge a little bit. And that was a whole vibe. That was a whole vibe for like 5-6 years that I don't think will ever fully come back. So Tank Girl kind of like fits right into that.
I just found out that Gwen Stefani was like the biggest poser of all time.
In what way?
Like she was like, it truly is like she was wearing a costume of like ska and like basically what you're talking about.
Oh,
like,
she was
like, never like really into that scene at all. Her brother, I think, was really into it. And they were like, hey, do you want to be in this band? She was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, I'll do it. And then
Gwen.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot of message boards not a lot of message boards about Gwen Stefani.
How many message boards, Cody?
I'm on like 5 message boards just about Gwen Stefani being a poser.
Damn, that sucks.
No,
I guess I'm not too surprised. It's not like I love her, but it sucks that she did become like the face of that little subculture vibe for a minute, and didn't deserve it. I
would rather have Lori Petty as the as that person.
She fits it perfectly.
Does she? I feel like Lori Petty disappears after this, and
man, she just had like a run in the mid '90s, and you don't ever see her again.
And I don't. Maybe Tank Girl was it. Like maybe that's what caused her to like.
Well, yeah, I guess yeah.
She doesn't strike me as the kind of person that lets things get to her, but like Tank Girl was the end of her run.
I'm not recognizing anything she did after Tank Girl.
Same.
Not a single one. Though there is like steady stuff, but direct-to-video, I mean, yeah,
TV, I guess, is where she went. And then the last time I remember seeing her like do something was Orange is the New Black. And she was
I remember when she showed up for that. That was cool.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, Lori Petty, you're alive.
Yeah, she did 24 episodes on that. So it's like she steadily worked, but never really was given a great vibe until Orange is the New Black again. But
I still feel like she lives this lifestyle. Like,
yeah, that she's just like this.
She's just cool and punk. And
yeah, it goes Tank Girl backwards. It goes In the Army Now, something else, Poetic Justice, Free Willy, A League of Their Own, Point Break.
Dang.
So yeah, she had a good run from 1990 to 1995.
And to think like her as Kit is like the farthest away from any of those other roles.
Yeah. She's so great as Kit too. I mean, that's maybe the movie where she does, acting. She has to have like some kind of range to do Tank Girl, but it's, it's not acting.
No, it's not. Let's see. Anything else? Any other final thoughts on Tank Girl?
Nope. Just the Rippers are pretty cool. I like the Rippers.
You like the Rippers? Jesse and the Rippers?
Jesse and the What is that?
That's from Full House. That's Jesse's.
Oh yeah, Jesse and the Rippers.
Uncle Jesse's band.
Could you imagine if Uncle Jesse, like his backing band was all Rippers from the movie?
They'd all be wearing like Beach Boys, like what are those shirts called? Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
And singing Forever. Let's talk about I'm excited to talk about one of these with you. Because
Sure.
I need to know how you feel about it. I'll save it. Let's talk about Judge Dredd, since we kind of already.
Yeah.
This movie takes place in the year 2139. It is the most in the future. So all these other ones that are have either passed or rapidly approaching, you can tell that the futuristic things have not happened. We're not downloading things into our head like that. No, we're almost there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
Elon's working on it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So Judge Dredd, what initial thoughts?
It was a fun movie.
I
don't know
this.
if I watched it as a kid. I don't know what would make it stand out over like all the other movies like this, I guess. But I had fun watching it. I wasn't too bored. Maybe some stuff in the middle is unnecessary. Sylvester Stallone is a hoot.
Hoot. That's the Peter Travers.
Yeah, he is a
review.
hoot.
That's
Because whether he's doing his job as Judge Dredd or he's failing to do his job as Judge Dredd, like he's just entertaining either way.
Yeah,
Rob Schneider's not too bad in this. He's pretty funny. I mean, he helps the movie.
Diane Lane's okay.
Yeah,
She's fine.
he's like, I don't know, annoyingly like innocent, I guess. But
I think I think this is one of the best like production design and graphics of the mid 90s for like sci-fi outside of obviously like Jurassic Park is going above and beyond and doing something amazing. But like some of this stuff I was really, really impressed with.
the opening sequence is great. I mean, they spent a lot of money just in the beginning there.
I really like the I don't remember what the character's name is, but the big robot giant robot dude.
I think his name's ABC Warrior.
ABC Warrior, whatever. He looked incredible. Like to where I was a little confused to whether or not he was CG at one point, and then I was like, oh, is he a puppet? And like, no, like it looked so good to me.
He did look really good. All the little gadgets and guns, even from like no-name bad guys, looked really cool.
Obviously the Versace's coming through on all the costume design and everything, but no, I was really impressed with even some of those chase scenes. Like they look like, I'm trying to think like some of the newer Star Wars movies. I think of a chase scene in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones has
it looked just as good as that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. That the flying car scene at the end is pretty great.
And maybe I just have low standards, but no, that's what I think kept me engaged in this movie. Because Stallone's just doing Stallone, and I don't know if he was trying to be emotionless or if that was, that's what the character's supposed to be, is emotionless.
Yeah, and overly,
was he just being Stallone?
Yeah, and overly like strict and just like, I don't know, I follow the law no matter what.
Cops.
Yeah, I don't know, because we already mentioned that like Stallone was the one who would fight with the director and say that I want this to be an action comedy. I want this to be funny. So it's hard for him to like be the one who's trying to push for the humor when he's the humorless character. Like the humor has to happen around him.
I don't think he understands like dark comedy either.
No. Sylvester Stallone does not understand irony or satire in any way. It's all in Front Street with him.
Yeah.
And that could be great. I mean, that's great in like a Rocky. You want that.
Yeah, I think he just saw, okay, he's like, I'm in Demolition Man, so I'm going to do Judge Dredd the exact same way as Demolition Man.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's going to look badass, and I'm going to fight against another Wesley Snipes kind of guy, but it's not. It's just a duplicate of himself.
This is clone.
Who's
that guy? That guy's really good.
Armand Assante.
He was a good villain.
Yeah, I liked him. Is he my favorite villain? I don't know. We do have a villain to talk about that I'm excited to talk about.
Well, in the French movie, there's like 8 villains.
Oh my god, the French movie.
Forever. Yeah.
Yeah, we already brought up that this was the OG RoboCop. Like RoboCop took everything from that. What is it? 2099 80?
80, 80, just 2000 AD.
Okay. and he's not supposed to take off his helmet. He never takes off his helmet in the comics, and if he does, it's like one time, and he's supposed to be like disfigured and everything. And
Yeah, I may be wrong, but I don't feel like he has any, like, he's not a RoboCop. He is a guy who just chooses to be like that.
Yeah.
He's like not like, oh, I can't compute like the extenuating circumstances. He's like, I don't care, break the law, even to save your own life, you go to jail.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
I mean, I forget the name of his gun too, because it's a pretty famous thing in nerd culture. But the gun that basically has 1,000 different modes, you just have to say it to, and it does different things, is pretty cool.
That seems like a video game thing.
Yeah, the Lawgiver. And it does show up in a ton of video games as like, a special weapon. It's in like Binding of Isaac or Enter the Gungeon, stuff like that.
I'm trying to think of anything else from Judge Dredd that I want to talk about. I'm just this was I don't think I'd seen any of these movies. Oh, Johnny Mnemonic. We already talked about that.
Yeah, and I had seen Judge Dredd, but I didn't really remember anything. Have you ever seen the remake, the reboot?
I have not. That's what I was actually going to bring up, was if you had seen the remake.
I remember it being really good. It's him and Olivia Thirlby. There's like a lot of like moody lighting. It's all very like neon green lights, and like dark hallways and stuff like that look cool. And it does keep the dark mood behind it all, and the violence and action is really good. I think everybody who saw Dredd thinks it's a good movie, but I don't think many people saw
Dredd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Olivia Thirlby.
Another one. It wasn't a hit. It was kind of a disappointment, but everybody who saw it was like, that was great.
Olivia Thirlby is a name that I had not heard in a while.
Oh, she lives rent free in my head. I miss her so much.
I like Olivia Thirlby a lot. I've liked her since Juno, as the friend in Juno. I loved her.
But she disappeared too.
Yeah. She's on that Lori Petty career, I guess. She's going after that model. She's going to be the new Tank Girl.
She'd be a cool Tank Girl.
I'd take her as Tank Girl.
Yeah, she's doing. She was in Stanford Prison Experiment. She's been in like small indie films, kind of like Chappaquiddick. Okay. I guess she had a role in Oppenheimer, but I guess everybody had to, right?
Oh yeah, I do remember her in Oppenheimer. She was a girl.
She was a girl.
She's like one of the one girls that
she worked on the Manhattan Project.
Yeah, that worked on the Manhattan Project. So
yeah,
I
she
refer
played a
to
real
her
person, Lily Hornig.
A girl. Well, I'm glad that I'm glad she's making some time.
She was just extremely pretty and popular when I was in college, so I'll never forget her. But she was really, I don't know that she has a lot to do except for be the kind of the like Judge Hershey character in the new movie. But
is that who she is in the new movie?
Well, it's not like it's just it's not plot for plot the Judge Dredd we just watched. It's another version of Judge Dredd, but she is the his female partner who's like, yo, man, you want to chill? Like, what's the deal with how you act and why you do things this way?
She's the human element.
Yes, absolutely.
She also has psychic powers. How fun. Now I got to watch Dredd.
I think you should. If you come across it, give it a watch. It's worth watching. All right, it kind of feels like it's maybe not as good, but it does feel like it's directed with like some Denis Villeneuve like kind of vibes to it. I think it's really cool, like some low synth and a lot of like neon flashing lights and like mood setting action. It's pretty good.
Oh, Alex Garland did the screenplay.
I don't know who that is.
Alex Garland is famous. He did the screenplay for 28 Days Later, Sunshine. He also directed, I believe, that new Civil Ex Machina.
Oh yeah,
Civil War, Annihilation, Men. Those are all his movies.
Okay,
so,
yeah, Annihilation makes sense too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to check this one out. I don't know who the director is, but it definitely recognized the screenplay. So check out Dredd. That's what we'll do next time.
Carl Urban plays Dredd. He kind of disappeared too, but that was when he had a moment. You got Lena Headey in there from Game of Thrones.
Shame. We love her. Oh, it's on Max. It's on Max. I can watch it.
Yeah, I might watch it soon. I liked it when it came out. It's been a while.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, Virtuosity. This is the one that's the freshest in my mind because it's the one I watched last night.
I watched it today. I like this movie. I thought it might. I didn't know any. I know nothing about it. I just hit play.
I had no idea what this movie was about. Yeah. I knew there was like VR stuff in it, but I had I just assume that with all these movies, though. I'm just like, what Lawnmower Man bullshit am I about to see? So
Yeah, right.
and there was some Lawnmower Man bullshit.
There was some, yeah. But I honestly, it was a little ahead of its time in '95 because it feels a little Minority Report with Denzel in there. I watched that. What's that Tony Scott movie with Denzel? I never saw until
Deja Vu.
Yeah, it felt like it kept making me think of Deja Vu, and I was like, oh, I see how like Denzel gets like to become like the Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3 guy and the Deja Vu guy, like because of this movie. He's really good at bringing the Denzel like acting and voice to an action plot.
This movie takes place in the year 1999. Kind of, and you can see it a little bit. Like this is 5 years removed, and they thought we were virtual reality was gonna be at this point.
I mean, I still hear like, oh my God, Steam's about to come out with their new VR set. It's supposed to finally be good. I've heard that every 2 years my whole life.
There is one part in this movie where they're both Denzel Washington and Kelly Lynch's character are both in the VR set. It's towards the end of the movie, and you just see his little legs.
Yes, that was silly. That was very silly.
That was
running in VR rig. I wrote down. There's like 5 things I wrote down. That was one of them.
She's just like kind of walking, like she's just kind of like moving her body a little bit. He is just moving along. No, I my notes. I said Denzel is great in this. I love his. I like that we got to see Denzel with locks and the beard.
That was cool. Yeah,
he was
Denzel with his braids twisted was rad. Yeah,
I was like, hell yeah, that gave me like what everybody gets in love with Michael B. Jordan about from like Black Panther. I'm like, no, this is the guy right here.
Right, you never see him like that.
I loved it, and I was really sad that they cut his hair. They were like, no more of that. Let's get that out of here. This movie has 3 Academy Award winners in it, by the way, which is Russell Crowe, Denzel Washington, and Louise Fletcher, who played Nurse Ratched.
Oh, really? She played Nurse Ratched. Interesting.
Yeah, she's the like the commissioner or whatever, the older lady that's just like, we got to shut this down. That was what she did in this movie.
That's what she did. She just shut shit down in One Flew too.
Also, this is another example. I thought this was a really cool fun fact about Denzel never wanting to kiss white women on screen because he thought it would hurt the film's box office. So he nixed the kiss between him and Kelly Lynch in this movie. He was like, nah, not gonna happen.
Well, that's probably good because there wasn't like much romance there to begin with.
No, there really wasn't. But he's also like, I think it was in Pelican Brief. He was like, nope, there should not be a romance here. And I think that Denzel has been pretty upfront about. He's like, I don't like to do romantic scenes.
Yeah,
that's not my bag. Like, I don't know if it's always the interracial thing, but I think he just loves his wife a lot, and he doesn't like to kiss other women. Which, hey, good for him.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, and I guess like I don't know. He can act with a lot of tenderness for sure. So, yeah. I wonder what romances he has been in on screen and how they play.
Macbeth.
Yeah, that's a little different though.
No, I don't know. I mean, I think he's in a romantic relationship in Training Day, but that's not the point of Training Day.
Yeah, it's not the point. He doesn't have anybody in John Q. Like he's on the phone with a wife or something.
No, yeah, his son's sick, and that's the only thing he does in John Q. I don't know. You don't really see him in any romantic.
What's the one where the cartel steals a little girl?
Man on Fire.
Man on Fire.
That's a Tony Scott movie too. He's got a couple like Deja Vu, Out of Time. I used to be very against Denzel Washington. I thought he was very one note for a very, very long time. But then I kind of learned to appreciate what he was doing. Kind of like what we were saying about this movie, like Virtuosity and then Deja Vu and Book of Eli, Man on Fire.
I used to be against those like action movies, like the Tony Scott movies in the 2000s. And when I saw Deja Vu, like I was like blasted with nostalgia, and I was like, man, I miss this kind of movie. This kind of action thriller, thoughtful thing. I enjoyed Deja Vu more than anybody who saw it in the theaters did because I like hadn't seen like that kind of Denzel or that kind of Tony Scott action in a while.
And I think it was all of his action movies because I was not a big action guy, and
Yeah,
all
me
these
neither.
Tony Scott, like I didn't like the stylized choices that Tony Scott was doing, and like everything had this green hue over it, and like I don't
Yeah,
know.
and like it was crazy. I don't know, the music, and then like crazy little like computerized sound effects, and like things would go gray, and the cameras would move like this, like they were
Yes.
security cameras. I hated it at the time, and again when I went back and watched it, or I love Spy Game, I would go back and watch that, and I'm like, oh man, the early 2000s feels comfortable for me again. You know,
Spy Game. Now that's a movie I can get behind. I loved Spy
Spy
Game.
Game was great.
But
That
yeah,
was the exception. I liked that when it came out.
I did not like. I think also the subtitles would move around so much on Tony Scott films.
Oh really?
Domino and Man on Fire specifically stick out to
Mm.
me. It's like it's kind of what you're saying, like very just. The
Also,
camera's
like the
moving.
type subtitles, like
Yes, they're typing out, yeah.
6 a.m. 2 days to apocalypse.
I hated Russell Crowe in this movie.
You hated him? I
Hated
thought he was
him.
so good.
I hated him.
He's really trying.
He is. I think, and I mean,
And Russell Crowe's not a try-hard actor. I mean, you think about his biggest roles, he's more quiet and brooding.
and I think it was just like too much for me. Like I felt like this is where Jared Leto got his inspiration for his version of the Joker was from
Yeah.
this Russell Crowe character.
He is like that. Yeah, he like wants to be
Um,
in a song and dance.
And I liked it a little bit. It felt a little cartoony to me. Like Super Mario Brothers cartoony
Yeah.
from that movie. But I don't think
I
he's a
think
house.
he gets away with it a little bit because he is like a VR guy. Like I guess
Yeah,
like,
he's
it doesn't hurt the movie as bad as it could for him to be that way because he is, not a real person. He's not grounded in a real life on Earth.
and I don't think that I probably for a lot of people this is the first time they're seeing Russell Crowe
Yeah,
in like an American film, because if you look at his filmography from up to this point, like Romper Stomper was his like the big thing from Australia that everybody was talking about, and then I don't know any of these other movies. The next movie, I don't know which one comes out first, Quick and the Dead or Virtuosity, or
he did. I know that.
but he Quick and the Dead, which we'll do later this year.
I was about to say, is that 95? That's the Sam Raimi Western with Leo
I-
DiCaprio, right?
Love that movie.
Yeah, I loved it
And
too.
I'll probably be disappointed, but
Yeah.
I loved it when it came out, and it was a fun concept to me whenever it came out. But I mean, the American audiences really don't know who Russell Crowe is at this point. Not until I think 96, 97 when he gets into what is that movie? LA Confidential.
LA Confidential, yeah.
Yeah, and then really kind of owns this, and that's leads
And then
into the
Mystery Alaska, maybe, but then Gladiator.
Gladiator, yeah. So from that point on, so maybe he was just going big. He was like, "Hey, you only get a couple chances to be an actor in this world, and I'm going to go big and ham it up in
Well,
Virtuosity
he doesn't do this again. Like he doesn't act this way. This is not
ever
a
again."
a bag of tricks he goes back to.
I did not like it, but I think I felt a little.
I guess it kept me from being too bored.
Oh yeah, he keeps you interested. Like
Yeah.
I wish I had that fun fact about like all the killers that were a part of his personality written down, and I thought there were some interesting ones. There are a lot of dictators in there.
Yeah.
Sirhan
But it's so
Sirhan
funny
was
that
in
the
there.
one that matters to,
Yeah.
to Denzel like takes over. Like, Genghis Khan or Hitler don't take over, but
Yeah.
like, the one that like killed Denzel's family is the one that seems to like be forefront.
I like that Sirhan was in here as
Yes.
yeah, he's like that guy killed one guy.
I mean, he's a villain, but yeah, he's not like
He killed one guy. Like, what are you gonna learn from that guy?
he killed RFK. Is that what?
Yeah, he killed
Really?
RFK. I don't know
Go
why.
back to
I
Nixon.
don't think he's in jail anymore. I think he's out.
Yeah, I think he's out. I remember that.
Um,
Yeah.
did
Oh,
you
the
know-
way that his face morphs, I thought that was kind of cool. Like, especially in
Mhm.
one of those scenes where it morphs into the guy that killed Denzel's.
that was kind of
That was
yeah.
pretty cool.
also though. Okay, the guy that killed Denzel's family. I'm kind of on his side.
Whoa. What? Cody, this is live.
Oh, my bad.
Why do you think he's not? Wait, what happened? I don't remember the details of his family dying.
No, well, okay, I'm against him killing the family and everything. But
Okay.
he's like sitting down at one point. It's a flashback. He's sitting down with these reporters, and he's just like, "These are the people that own everything." Like it's very 99%, 1%ers.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, this guy's not that bad.
Yeah, true.
He's not that bad. Until he starts killing random people. And the worst part about that guy is that he's just like, I chose this cop and I'm just gonna make his life hell, and that's my catchphrase.
Yeah, he didn't say anything like that later on. He's just
I just wanted to mess with this one guy who just happens to work for he is a cop.
And he like revels in his misery. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's like wants to be like he taunts him constantly. Like, your daughter's dead. I did it. It was hilarious. Like, it was wild.
Also hilarious though is that Denzel, knowing pretty much all the people that are in that area where he kills all those people, and then the two reporters pop up and he just guns them down.
Oh yeah,
and that's why he's in jail.
he kills a lot of people.
Yeah, he with one arm.
Yeah.
Blew off his arm, and he just.
Oh man, did you not like that final fight though? That final fight scene's pretty great.
At the end when they're on the roof and then
Yeah.
they redo it.
Mhm.
That's cool. That whole concept was cool.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
And then he just throws him off the building. That was awesome. And then he like picks himself up like Jim Carrey in The Mask.
He
Off of
does.
the
Yeah, and it's like when you see him like almost a quadriplegized, like out, like with blue arm blood everywhere, and like crazy jagged glass coming through his body.
that was cool.
That looked really good.
And I was like, of course he's in glass. He's just gonna heal himself right now. And
Yeah.
he started to. That was good. Do you know who the little girl is?
No, who was it?
It's her film debut. That's Kaylee Cuoco. She's from the show, The Big Bang Theory. She's the
Yeah,
blonde
that's it.
from The Big
Okay,
Bang
yeah,
Theory. Yeah, this is her very first appearance.
Stuck in that fan.
I love it. He just stops it with his arm. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's why he has a fake arm. It's just for that moment.
Wait, he has a fake arm?
Yeah, because he
I
got
didn't
it
know.
blown off.
I didn't remember. I didn't realize that. I missed that
Yeah,
part.
so whenever he's trying to rescue his wife and child, he blows up that room because he just walks in, and then after that he goes on his little revenge tour with one arm, goes to jail. They give him a prosthetic arm. It's a
Okay.
metal arm. Yeah.
That makes sense because I was like, I looked down for a second and then he was just holding the fin still, and I was like, how did did somebody hack it? What's going on?
They tell you at the very beginning of the movie that he has a metal arm because when he's coming back to the prison, when they make him go through that scanner, and it's like cyborg arm detected. You're
Then he has that
clear.
fight with that dude, that racist dude. That was pretty cool.
That was cool. But and he got in trouble with it for it. I like the it's not an interrogation, but that blonde woman, Kelly, whatever her name's character, is talking to him, is like interviewing him, and she's like, so what happened with the fight? He said, I defended myself, and he repeats himself 3 times in that. I loved that scene.
That was good. That was a good scene. And the scene where they're trying to like kind of blackmail him, but treat it like it's an offer. And he was like, "Oh, you want me to clean your mess up? And if I die, then I die. And if I don't clean your mess up, I go back to prison forever." Like, and you're sitting here pretending you're going to do me a favor. Like, he kind of calls them out for like their like slick techniques or whatever.
Apparently, there was supposed to be a lot more scenes in this movie with a couple of characters. That William Fichtner, I can never say his name, but he's like not the head of the VR guy, but he's like with the older lady the whole time. He just walks around with her. Yeah. I was a little sad that Billy got killed at the end of this movie.
Who's Billy?
He's Denzel's cop friend who just gets his head bashed in at the very end of this movie.
I don't remember that guy at all. I watched it 4 hours ago.
He was just the cop with the mustache. Like
the cop with the mustache. Well, then there was wasn't this one the guy? There was like a lanky guy that was helping the VR guy for a while. I didn't really understand what his deal was either.
The lanky guy that was helping the VR guy.
He was helping Russell Crowe until he got forced out. I don't know what
he's the one that he's the one that bashed in the guy's head.
Oh, okay. It was like a sidekick.
Yeah, I don't know what his end game was really. I think he just created Russell Crowe and he didn't want to see people do that, like destroy his creation. And that
Yeah.
was it.
Yeah.
Frankenstein's monster kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Makes sense.
Yeah. This movie was fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'd never even heard of it. So it's kind of nice to like hear about a movie for the first time and watch it and be like, oh, that happened. This crazy cast. It belongs in the category of like these movies, VR stuff, 90s action.
There is a movie that we're going to watch later this year that I'm really excited about. I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen Catherine Bigelow's Strange Days?
No, I've never seen Strange Days.
Strange Days, I recommend it. And it falls into the same, like Johnny Mnemonic. Johnny Mnemonic is probably the closest that I would that it comes to. Very noir, cyberpunk, but it does it really well in my opinion. So
well, I'm always interested in like all the Catherine Bigelow movies I missed. In retrospect, seeing her career now, and to go back and be like, oh, she was doing stuff in the late '80s and the '90s the whole time. And
she's got a vampire movie. She got
the vampire movie was really good. It was Near Dark?
Yeah, Near Dark with Bill Paxton.
Yeah, that's right.
K-19, The Widowmaker.
Ugh, I'm not a fan of her movies, really, but I just find her interesting as a
that's one of those ones where I go back and I'm like, really, The Hurt Locker? That's why.
Yeah, I agree. I still haven't seen Zero Dark 30, and I think it's been far enough away from it now that I'd be kind of interested to watch it. And
I remember liking it better than I liked The Hurt Locker. But when The Hurt Locker came out, I was like, yeah, The Hurt Locker's the best. Screw Avatar.
Like, it's cool, but yeah, it was fun to see her beat James. That was pretty rad.
It's a good story. All right, let's talk about the one we've all been waiting for. I don't know if you've been waiting for. The City of Lost Children. This is the one that I was actually the most excited to talk to you about because I figured you'd seen some of this guy's movies before, like Amelie.
I've seen Amelie and I've seen Delicatessen.
Yeah. And I I thought this was the guy that did The Professional. I thought this was a Luc Besson movie.
Luc Besson. Oh, that's interesting.
And then,
it feels like, what it feels like is a Terry Gilliam movie.
Yes, it does.
And it's better. I think this movie's better than half of Terry Gilliam's movies.
So, it felt more complete, but yet also like insane.
I mean, I think Roger Ebert like loved it or whatever, but did make a big point to be like, I can't tell you what happens. The plot's very hard to follow and make sense of, and that's true. And I would have wished that wasn't the case. I mean, Amelie and Delicatessen have weird plots, very simple plots, but very like strange things going on all the time. I would have liked it if it was a little more tight on the plot because I don't feel like there's some philosophical undertones that I care enough like to be okay with this movie being confusing and like aimless.
Do you think that Babe kind of feels like this style too? Not this crazy, but like takes a little bit of the, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Babe, I definitely like the I don't know, like the world building, like we're gonna go sit over here in this corner of the world for a little minute.
Yeah. Like it feels like it's supposed to be of our world, but it feels completely different from our, like the other movies that we're talking about are all Earth and they have connections to Earth. This somehow feels like not a part of our world at all.
Right. It's like magical realism or a little bit of just an exaggerated version of things. Cause like, characters like one exist, but one feels like he's out of a storybook and not out of the real world.
And yeah, that's the only connection I'll go to Babe on this one. So I had seen Delicatessen. I had seen Amelie years ago, and it was like the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, indie darling.
Yeah,
like,
it was huge when it hit,
especially
for us at our college age.
Very cute. But then I saw Delicatessen only a few years ago, maybe a couple years ago, and I really liked that. And I think I like that the best out of the three movies that I'd seen of this guy. Is it Junet? I think is
Delicatessen. It's been a while. I think I like that it's easier to map out, I guess. This one seems a little more chaotic. But yeah, Delicatessen was great.
Is this based on, do you know if this is based on a story or is this original?
I don't think it is.
Have you played the video game though?
I did look at it. Making a video game of this movie is crazy.
Yeah, this movie's really pretty, and I did read somewhere that like to achieve the colors that they did, they put everybody in whiteface. Like
Oh,
they made everybody's makeup like super super light so they could like mess with the colors of everything. Really cool.
well, again, this movie is like 10x better looking than any of the other movies. And
Yes.
probably even on like the main channel like episodes, like it looks so good for 1995. And there are like you can remember all these crazy shots they put a ton of work into costuming and set design for, but there are little shots that are just like from like a sky crane shot down into an alley where the light on the bricks or the water like just looks so great.
Yeah.
And the colors very on purpose, the angles are on purpose, every detail looks very real. I guess shooting in Europe can give you some of that stuff very easily, more compared to other places, but it looks so good.
Yes. And some of the like special effects stuff is really cool looking too, like the flea.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain the flea to Alyssa last night. I was trying to explain this movie to Alyssa last night.
Yeah, it is. Like
And I was like, and then there's a lady who's the octopus, and that's what they call her, and she's conjoined twins. And there's this other guy that trains fleas.
yeah, he puts like a muzzle with a syringe onto the flea's face, and the flea sucks up green liquid and then goes and controls people's bodies with it. It's wild.
It is so good. And then you have this group of people in a cult called the Cyclopses, who can't see, but they make deals with this other guy. He gives them fake eye.
Yeah, it's great. I love this movie.
It felt like a Doctor Who episode, like mixed with Terry Gilliam, mixed with like Moulin Rouge. Maybe the Frenchness of it. Maybe Baz Luhrmann takes some pointers from this
Baz
guy.
Luhrmann kind of feels right too. Also, dark fantasy, I guess. It isn't obviously it's an international film, but dark fantasy in the mid-90s I don't think is much of a thing. I'm trying to think of one. So like it feels closer to Dark Crystal than anything else in the 90s.
Yeah, man. Now that you brought that up, I can't think of anything else.
I'm going back to like anything in the 90s that would remind me of this, that like it's kind of like Page Master because the colors are muted, you know? Or even like some other animated early stuff like Don Bluth kind of stuff maybe. But dark fantasy is not a 90s thing. So it's kind of like it sticks out a lot in doing the mid-90s podcast.
Was this the first time you'd watched this film?
Yeah, I didn't know it existed. Or if I had read it, I'm sure I read it on Wikipedia at some point. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But
I kind of wish I would have picked it for the 52.
Yeah, I totally think it could deserve like
a whole conversation about it.
Yeah, there's so many. Wait, is Ron Perlman French?
No, he's not. He also says like, I couldn't speak French very well, and this is one of my.
And they were like, "It's okay. You're supposed to be a stupid character."
Yeah, that was another thing that was a little weird to me and very French, I guess, is that we have this childlike adult and then this adult-like child who are in a relationship together, but it's not. I don't know. It was.
Well, I think it was just friendly. I never thought it seemed weird. I think it's like an orphan and a dumb strong man, so they're just outsiders in society.
It reminded me a lot of The Professional, though.
Okay, well, that's problematic.
It reminded me a lot of that. Well, there was
Is that
one
why you
point.
thought Luke Besson did this movie?
Yes, I did. I think the only part that I had any kind of like, whoa, what are we doing here? Is when they're like spooning, which they're not spooning, but they're just like laying next to each other.
Yeah.
And he says radiator.
Mhm.
And the only as in he's warm, but he says that same line when he's talking to the sex worker at the bar.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if he's just stupid or
Maybe he's supposed to be like kind of too low intelligence to be sexual. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and even some of like the French he was speaking wasn't good French, and because he wasn't making complete sentences.
Yeah. He's very monosyllabic.
And then he just wants to find his little brother. That's not even his little brother.
Yeah, he's just looking for his homie
who just eats all the time.
Steal his dreams so he wouldn't age.
I think I had to read that. Like I think I had to read the Wikipedia multiple times while I was watching this movie.
I think I did a little bit of that too, and it really helped. It made me like feel more comfortable when watching it.
Yeah, because at first I was like, "Why are we doing?" I fell asleep 3 times watching this movie, and I like this movie. This is my but there were a couple times where I was like, I cannot keep I cannot keep up with this and what's going on. I thought the little girl was fantastic. She was probably my favorite part of this whole movie.
She was really good.
The twins are all the clones. I really like them for whatever French comic relief.
Yeah,
they're
very funny. That guy's been in stuff, right?
He's the main guy in Delicatessen.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what I'm recognizing him from.
Yeah,
Dominique Pignon, yeah. He played the diver too.
Yeah, he's only credited as
yeah.
one of them, though. He's only credited as one thing in this. They don't even recognize him as playing the clones and all that other stuff.
Interesting.
So,
yeah, the clones are funny. The dwarf lady was hilarious. The brain in the thing looks so cool.
Uncle Irvin.
Irvin, yeah. That was the big part that was confusion for me, is I thought the brain was the scientist, but it's not.
Right. It was the diver as the scientist.
Yeah.
And the brain was just the brain is the one that put everything into motion.
Right.
Yeah, he's the architect of all of this happening at the end.
But the bald bad guy is supposed to be the genius.
Yes.
But he's aging because he can't sleep. And so he can only stop aging from eating children's dreams.
What did you think of when he dressed up as Santa Claus?
Well, that's how the movie starts, first of all. So then when they like mentioned Santa, I was like, oh yeah, what was the deal with all that Santa shit at the beginning?
He dresses up as Santa Claus and then frightens children while singing Christmas music to them. And I guess
awesome.
yeah.
This is also like your like American stereotypes of the French. They're like, oh, let me tell you a sweet story before you go to bed. And it's just like a weird, horny nightmare-scape with a like philosophical nightmare-scape.
Every French movie, well, I won't say every French movie that I've seen. Like there are some serious French movies out there, but I've seen a few of these kinds of movies before. There's just some like batshit crazy plot that and it is very like slapsticky at times. Like even the bird landing on the explosive thing at the end, like
yes,
is very like Looney Tunesy, and it's interesting. I don't know.
Well, the French make a lot of like animated films that are kind of like that too. They're kind of like high art animation, but so they're like really strange.
But this is way different than I watched. This is way different than some of the other French that we're used to, like French New Wave movies. Or,
yeah, sure.
I'm trying to think of other French movies that I'm trying to pick out now. But there was a movie from like the early 2000s that this also reminded me of, like around Amelie time, but it was called Love Me If You Dare. And it's about a couple, like they grew up together and they were never like together. And they keep meeting up at points in their life and they keep daring each other to do these things, but the dares are insane and they have to do the dares.
Okay.
And they're like going to kill or hurt people in the process of doing these dares, but it's played off as comedy.
Yeah.
So that's what this.
Well, that was like the stereotype of French film in the 90s and 2000s, was that it was always high concept, that even if it was a grounded romance, like, you know, they would, float into the stars at the end, or like, find some way to make a wish. Like there was always some like magical realism to their grounded films.
Yeah. In that film, they end up burying themselves in cement because they both dare each other to do it.
Nice.
The other style of movie that I was going to pick out as, for like French style movies is the Tati films, the Jacques Tati, like Playtime, or Monsieur Hulot, I think is his name.
Yeah, I've never seen Monsieur Hulot. I know the name Jacques Tati, but I'm not sure if I've seen any films of his. Monsieur Hulot's Holiday, is that what it is?
Yes, that one. If you do watch one, Playtime is. I love Playtime. Yes, I recommend that. It is one of my favorite.
Mon Uncle is always listed in films. I
can always see the poster for Mon Uncle.
Yeah. I think the same thing about Monsieur Hulot. I always see that one in my head.
Let's see. Did we forget? We said a lot of things about the City of Lost Children. Is there anything else that we might have missed?
What did we miss? No, we kind of hit them all. It's crazy. There's just a lot of very indelible images and mystery and comedy that just kind of flows from one scene into the next. So it really is like riding on vibes. It's very like a wave kind of movie. Like you just kind of ride the surf of the vibes until you get to the end. But incredibly unique, a very like crazy cool artistic accomplishment. And like putting it next to like a Tank Girl just shows like how good it is, or like maybe how bad Hollywood can be at like truly making something unique and special.
Yeah.
There's a million more people who saw Judge Dredd and think it's like a creative, cool cult classic for being weird and different. You're like, you think that's weird and different in 1995?
Let me give you. Yeah, City of Lost Children doesn't feel like a 95 movie.
No, it feels
in the same way that like Delicatessen
now, it could have come out in the 80s. Like I said, it could be like the Baron Munchausen, Terry Gilliam. It could be like that, or it could be like a weird thing that just came out last year.
Yeah, Delicatessen's the same way too. Like,
yeah,
when I learned that it was like a 91 movie, I was like, that doesn't make any sense at all. This seems very of the time. So, all right, how did you rank them?
Oh, ranking them, huh? Ranking them. Well, let's see. I think the worst movie is Tank Girl.
Okay.
Then Johnny Mnemonic, then Virtuosity. Fuck it. No, you go ahead. Let me think about this for a second.
All right. The worst one for me was Johnny Mnemonic, and then I went to Virtuosity, and then Tank Girl. I really enjoyed Judge Dredd. It was the peak of those four, and then City of Lost Children is just far and away like better than all of these movies, production wise, acting, like story wise. It's just it really does live up to, like, all the other ones are kind of in that same percentage, but that 80% is much deserved on the City of Lost Children. Like it's that much better than these movies.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. So I think where we much disagree, I think that Judge Dredd is my least favorite.
Okay.
And I think Johnny Mnemonic's my second favorite.
Okay. We flipped them.
So yeah, Judge Dredd, Virtuosity. I put Tank Girl in the middle. Virtuosity and Tank Girl's rough. I think they're good for different reasons. It's hard to say. I think I could rewatch Virtuosity a little easier, maybe. But then Johnny Mnemonic and then the City of Lost Children is the number one.
I think I'll rewatch these every year.
You think so?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do these 5 every year.
What if you just added all the? What if you just had to redo the bonus episodes every year?
There's some rough ones that we've watched.
Yeah,
like,
I've been some rough ones. This one was not bad. This one is a collection of. I mean, you could put like City of Lost Children like as like the 5th out there. It doesn't count, but the other 4 like is a collection of movies where you go, all right, here we go, and it went down so much smoother than I expected.
I do agree with you there. I had fun watching each one of these, and I would watch them all again. These are not like Johnny Mnemonic, as bad as that is. Like I would watch that movie so many more times than I would watch like some of the other ones I'm not going to watch Nixon ever again, but I'm going to watch Johnny Mnemonic like 4 months.
Yeah, I think all of these would be fun every few years to like find and be like, I don't know, I'll watch that today.
Yeah. So, well, Ryan, thank you so much for getting on here for an hour and talking about these silly movies with me. I really appreciate when you do it. Is there anything you've watched in the last few weeks? Yeah. Anything that you want to recommend?
Yeah, there was something. There totally was. Oh, I saw Challengers.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
It was really fun. Yeah, I don't think it's great, but it was good.
I love it so much. I don't know.
It's a really fun watch. I mean, it ratchets the tension up very well. Yeah, as much as I'm a Zendaya stan, I think it may have needed a slightly better actor than her.
I think I agree with you.
Okay, good. Yeah.
No, Zendaya is
that job.
No.
That movie could have done better. I think that she is such an enigmatic character that you really have to play to the small spaces of her like psychosis and personality. And I just don't think Zendaya like really gets there.
I think my biggest problem was that she was, they play her over, when she's a teenager all the way up to when she's, older, probably in like her 30s. And I do not think that she can play the older version of her. of that character.
Yeah,
as well
that
as
was a stretch for her.
yeah, it did seem a little bit. And yes, I do agree with Chat. I think the boys should have kissed a lot more.
Yes, that scene should have been. That scene shouldn't just be like we kissed for 10 seconds. So the rest of the movie, even if they never mention it again, it needs to be about their friendship that ended, but it needs to be about like the night of passion they spent together and we'll never talk about. And that needs to add to the tension of the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
They had like one gay night, like that, like ended their friendship because of a girl. All of that together is way more fascinating than like, oh, she got him to make out a little bit and then smirked and walked away.
Yeah. It just made I was so jacked after watching that movie. I was like, I just want to kiss boys and play tennis. That's all I want to do.
No, it makes it seem very cool. Like
it does. Makes it seem way cooler. But yeah, I was jacked after watching that movie.
Also, I haven't seen King Richard, but I was like, tennis movies, I guess, have to be horny. It's just like Match Point and Wimbledon and Challenges.
And King Richard is not a horny movie at all.
It's not. Yeah, right.
No. It was worth slapping Chris Rock though.
Yeah. That got me more.
The music, I really like the music in it too. Yeah.
Yes, and the editing, the way that they tell the story, like I'm a sucker for that. Like it's a really good, like frame narrative to like have the last match and mean more to you as it goes on. I mean, it's very For the Love of the Game does it kind of, but like in a more modern, like sexy way. Challengers was good.
I love when you bring up For Love of the Game.
CMA, man.
No, I think I'm a Luca Guadagnino fan.
Which one's that?
So he's the guy that did Challengers. He did Call Me by Your Name.
Oh yeah.
He did Bones and All, which I think is really, really good, with Timothée Chalamet, and the Suspiria remake.
Okay, I've heard of all of those movies being very good, and I haven't seen any of them.
I love them, and I think that I'm on board for Luca Guadagnino. So
yeah.
Everybody should check him out. Anything else?
Last night I watched Pig, but I fell asleep in the last 5 minutes.
Oh. I have not seen it, so
okay.
I was excited to hear your take.
Yeah, I feel like I may not like the ending. And you know that everybody was excited about the trailers, and then nobody talked about it. It's not a great movie, but it is pretty good.
Okay.
And it's at 91 minutes.
Ooh,
so
I love
if you're gonna watch like a weird Nicolas Cage like art film where he's just trying to find his stolen pig, 91 minutes is what you want. I'm glad I clicked on it.
Okay. I'm gonna check it out sometime.
It's not bad. I mean, it's not, but it definitely like the trailers and the high concept make you think it's gonna be like a Challenger style kind of hit. And I think a lot of people were maybe looking for that, and it doesn't quite hit to those standards, but still worth a watch.
I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it. It's been on my list for a while, so I should probably watch it.
I think it just hit Netflix.
Okay.
And so last night I was like, what am I going to watch when I'm falling asleep? And the first thing that came up was like the big ad, and it was like Pig's here, and I was like, all right, cool, let's go.
Pig and Lamb, they were on my lists.
Yeah, they both came out the same year. I still want to see Lamb 2.
Lamb 2, there's a sequel? Just kidding. Yeah. Lamb 2, the Lamb
in the City, yeah.
Well, again, thank you, Ryan, for doing this. Maybe you'll do this again next month. And for next month, for the month of June, we're covering indie darlings. So each one of these movies are either by a first-time director on the independent scene, or they are praised for being the indie darling that they are. So we're talking about Noah Baumbach's Kicking and Screaming. We're talking about Party Girl. We're talking about Safe and Brothers McMullen. So I think all these were like Sundance favorites.
Yeah.
And everything.
I don't know the last one, but those are 3 great movies.
Ed Burns. It's the whole reason we have Ed Burns is because of the movie Brothers McMullen. So yeah, do check those out if you want to. I don't know where they're all streaming. I know Party Girl is on Amazon Prime, and it's all over the place. And a couple Kicking and Screaming, I think, is on Netflix. So I've seen Kicking and Screaming and Safe. Those are the only ones I've already seen. So
yeah, those are I mean, Party Girl's very 1995, but the other 2 that I've seen, I almost would think that they came later. They're so beloved and good.
Yeah. So if you are interested in that, or are interested in any more of our movies, we have a Discord server that you can join and talk with us about or ask questions about what's coming up. So do join that. If you haven't followed us here or anywhere, check out all the links and follow and do everything fun. We'll be doing this next. So I'm glitching right now. June 25th is when we're going to do that extra credit episode. But join us this coming week. We're going to talk about Bad Boys on our regular broadcast. That'll be on Monday because of travel. But do check that out and watch Bad Boys with us and listen to some music on our 52 Music. We're talking about
Tupac, right? All Eyes on Me.
no, it's Blink 182.
Oh, I missed Tupac. Huh?
No. Tupac's next month. There's a little confusing thing. If you go to the other sheet on there, I think it lists out everything. Blink 182's Cheshire Cat is the next one. We're doing debuts, so
very cool.
We'll be there. All right. Well, that's it for 52/1995 extra credit. We'll see you next time. Later.
What a year, what a time. Big screens, dreams, a movie rewind. From talking toys to heists gone wrong. We're watching it live and singing along.